All right, welcome to the podcast. What is today? Today is Friday, June 8th. It is 4 p.m. And I'm going to give a recap of the past couple days. I think the last podcast episode we did was on the 4th, so it's been a few days. I've been traveling a little bit, haven't had time to do the podcast. So I'm not going to do a detailed update of each and every day, but let me touch on a few kind of important things that happened. If you've been following along, I believe in the last podcast or maybe the one before, I mentioned that we were going through a bit of a restructuring. We had grown to a certain level, and some things were falling through the cracks. Kind of these things that I'm learning. I used to get upset about it, but growth causes some cracks to unearth that used to not be problems. So when you only have 10 people on the team versus 30, you have to operate differently, and things have to adjust, and your organizational structure has to evolve, right? And so this was one of those times. So anyways, long story short, started restructuring the company a little bit. One of the biggest changes that we made was Cody has now taken on a new role. We invented a new role, and we're calling it Head of Digital Studio. We just came up with that title, but the idea is that he will be in charge of the Jacked method, which is like our process and way of doing things. He will be in charge of delivery, which is making sure that we're always delivering for our partners. He is in charge of customer success, which is ensuring our partners are happy. And the reason why we called it Head of Digital Studio is because we're essentially segmenting out the digital side of the business into this own little unit, where he is essentially the CEO of that unit. So we added in one thing that wasn't there before was this real focus on customer success, and it's always been there, but there's that, and there's a bunch of other things that are part of this role that think of it like, and Ricardo, who's our head of engineering, put it this way, was like he's like the mini CEO. And Ricardo also said something interesting, he's like, this was essentially you 3 years ago. And I thought it was an interesting thing, right? Because it's basically the CEO of an organization that is product people, designers, developers, and you're running it. But now we're a bigger organization, so that's what we used to be a few years ago, and there was just me and everyone else. Today we have a whole operations division, we have marketing, we have sales, we have all these other things. And now, so I'm the CEO on the top of all these different divisions. So if you look at a little chart, and maybe we can flash something up if you're by video, we have essentially operations, we have marketing, we have sales. We also, as part of this restructuring, we broke off something called innovation into its own little division. And then we have the digital studio. And so the digital studio, which is our biggest group and division right now, will be run, by Cody as the head of digital studio, which will report up into me, and I'm excited for that. I think he's very, very capable. Obviously, or else I wouldn't have pushed him into this, or not even pushed, promoted him and created this new position for him, and yeah. So, anyways, I'm really excited because I think this is going to really help take us to the next level. It's going to remove some responsibility from me. So I'm still right now really touching, and it's not because I don't want to, right? It's I get called into a lot of different scenarios still. I'm still decently involved in our the day-to-day operation and process of projects, which I love. But I don't, right now it's a requirement, it has to happen, versus it's not hey, I want to be involved because I can add more value. It's I have to be involved. And so that's something we're fixing a bit, because we can't keep growing if if I have to be involved in, this one aspect of the business, and same with sales, same with other divisions. So we're trying to, find heads of these different units right now. So a head of innovation, a head of sales, a head of marketing, head of operations, and head of people in operations. We already have that. That's Lauren, right? So the more heads and people to run these little units and divisions, right? The more it will free up my time, which is nice. So I'm excited for that. There's definitely going to be some work that Cody is doing that he will have to do to really make this role his own and really be that mini CEO. But I'm excited. So, and the other little update that we did was we also decided that the new hiring division would actually not be blasted off into a separate one. That's actually going to report to Lauren under people and operations. So, instead of having its own complete division, it's within there. And when we were also doing that, we also decided that marketing, so we've been starting to do marketing for our partners. It's not something that we've really released out publicly, but for our existing partners, we're starting to do marketing services, and that has kind of been, sitting, no one knows where it is. That's also going to be rolled up under the digital studio arm. It actually used to be under that marketing division. We're actually just calling that Jacked Marketing. It's only for internal marketing. And then there's going to be external marketing, which is marketing for our partners. That's actually now rolled up under the digital arm, which didn't exist before, or it wasn't rolled up under the digital arm. So some restructuring there. If you're joining me by the podcast on audio, maybe you'll be able to follow along with this. I hope it all makes sense. But anyways, it's just the theme is just really restructuring for growth and for removing responsibility from me and giving it to other people and letting them thrive and letting them do their thing. I think in some ways that Cody is actually better than me at certain things. So I think he can do a great job and better than me even, running this unit, and that's what I want, right? I see my job as let me look at the structure. Let me come up with work with a team, come up with a strategy, but it's putting the people in the right positions to thrive. It's a people problem oftentimes before it is a process and other type of problem. I mean, process has to be there, but you have to have the right people. So really my game is well, I'm going to bring in Cody, and then he'll figure out how everything kind of needs to work. So yeah, that's some restructuring that we are doing. Head of engineering now, Ricardo will report into to Cody. Yeah, what else? Those are some important things. I also, completely shifting gears here, was in Kansas City yesterday. Can't really talk about why at this moment, but it was for a meeting for a potential new partner engagement, which I'm really excited about. But I'm also now very tired. Cody and I both flew out there. We had to leave. Our flight was at 6 a.m. in New York. We flew out, met for the majority of the day with them in Kansas City. Then we couldn't get a flight out at night, so then we had to stay in the morning, and we flew out. We woke up at 4 a.m. or whatever. Went to the airport, flew back to New York today, then went straight from there to the office, and then to a couple meetings with partners, and or a meeting with a partner, back to the office, been in meetings. It's just been kind of nonstop, and I'm a little bit tired because between the flight to Kansas City initially and the flight back to New York, I haven't slept much. But the meeting was very productive, very good. I was glad Cody went with me. And overall, I'm feeling very optimistic. Through the last week with this restructuring, it was really delicate, right? We were in this transition period, and we're still in a transition period, but Cody's really stepped up, and I'm feeling really optimistic and positive for this. I think this will really help us take us to a new level, and then really free up some of my time to focus on other things and turn my focus from focusing on that, because I can kind of, hey, he's running that now. Of course, I'm going to be involved. It's not like I'm stepping away, but then I can focus on really my next focus, I think, will be on getting the marketing and sales side organized really well so that it can run with less of my involvement. So the digital studio side, he's taking care of. The marketing and sales now is my next focus probably. It's something I haven't been able to crack, and so I think I'm going to take a similar approach. Instead of me trying to do it, I'm going to let me find the right person that's head of sales, head of marketing, to come in and kind of do this. So anyways, those are some updates from there. Other than that, typical week, meetings with new partners. As part of this restructuring though, one thing that's fallen over the last week is I haven't been as active on sales. So this is kind of the problem, right? Because I don't have a head of sales. we have people doing sales and doing some work, but it's still extremely heavily dependent on me, and that's a negative, right? Because now when something happens at the company, I need to help with some restructuring, whatever. Then sales, because I still play head of sales. I still have a job in the company which is dependent on me, and if I don't perform it, we get potentially hurt. And so that happened this week. Just have not made progress on some sales, and I'm behind on things, and that's difficult because you have to have new sales in order to grow the business, and if I'm not focused on that, that's a problem. So that's the gaps become more apparent, and I have some work to do. So anyways, that happened this week. Again, more meetings with partners, making sure all our existing partners were all good with this transition, and shifting some things around, introducing Cody to everyone because he had to meet some of these new partners because I wanted him to be involved in every single partner relationship. That's also kind of a change that we're making strategy-wise. Like, he will be involved in a different way that I'm not going to share all the details right now, but he's going to be involved in every single kind of project. And we're also, even Cody and I, kind of brainstorming, talking, like seeing if there's a way for me to get even involved in more of a nice to have kind of strategy kind of role on some of these engagements, because I love coming in on strategy, but doing it in a way that is added value and that could be helpful for the partners, but isn't dependent on me. And same with Cody. So anyways, that's the week. We're really busy, which is good. And what else? I'm trying to think. I mean, those are kind of the important points. I mean, I'm gonna go finish up today. I have a few more meetings. We're doing this podcast in the middle of the day right now, so the day is not over. Well, it's 4 o'clock, but I feel like it's like 9 because I haven't slept much and I'm pretty tired. So I'm drinking a coffee. I've been trying not to drink coffees later in the day now, but drinking coffee to kind of stay awake. And I think that's it. So I don't have anything else. Let's just call it a wrap there. Oh, it's June 8th, which is also, I just realized, it's my dad's birthday. So Dad, you won't see this actually until July because we released them so late, but just know I did say happy birthday on the podcast. Happy birthday. And so anyways, let's call it a wrap. I'm gonna get back to work, and we will try. I'm gonna try to get back to these creating these daily, or at least on a more consistent basis, because I've been skipping this a little bit. I'm gonna try and get better at that so that we actually have those daily recaps so you can see things evolve a bit more. But it's just been a little bit difficult due to things happening in the business. This is my side gig, is doing these things. I'm running the company, but that's no excuse. I'm gonna try and make this happen, and so I'll see you guys next time, which hopefully will be tomorrow. Might be in a couple days from now, but anyways, all right. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.